And now, join your hosts, Keith Reynolds and Charlene Chamberlain.
Well, good morning. I'm Keith Reynolds, host of Morning Coffee. I'm here with my lovely show host, Charlene Chamberlain. Char, good morning.
I did not get the dress down day memo this morning.
I'm
Keith.
sorry. You know what? My little 4-year-old brought me the tie when I was ironing my clothes, and she said, "Daddy, you have to wear this." And I was like, "Daddy's tired of wearing ties."
I think after that whole tie discussion we had yesterday, he is a tie hoarder.
Yes, I am a tie hoarder. I collect
He buys
ties.
them, he hides them. You probably have 2 or 3 at the same time in your closet. Don't even know
I don't
it.
get that.
Like a girl, right?
Close, though. Close.
Right.
So I just said it's got to be dressed down today. I want to be relaxed.
Okay, well, I have my sandals on, so does that count?
That counts. That
Okay,
counts.
good.
So what do we got going on today?
We have a very, very important topic.
What'd you
today.
say? I can't hear
Yeah,
you.
Exactly, Keith. You have that male selective hearing thing happening.
No, that has nothing to do with medical.
Oh, yeah, right, absolutely. It has to do with women.
No, okay.
And your wife.
There you go.
And your on-air wife.
Sure.
Yeah, there we go. It is a very important topic, and it affects so many people, and I feel that a lot of men and women don't want to admit that they might be experiencing hearing loss or a hearing problem. So our guests today are Dr. Gail Angelelli and Dr. Ruth Brenner of Audiology Partners of Marlton, and we're going to talk about the different types of hearing loss, what causes hearing loss, and some of the ways to fix the problem or help with the problem. So welcome to Morning Coffee. It's nice to have you here.
Nice to be here. Yeah, thank you.
You know, you said a few things about hearing, and we were talking before the show. You know, I think it is that people just, there's no meter. Like if we were talking about glasses. If I can't see something 20 feet away from me, hey, there's something wrong.
You can't see it.
But hearing, you don't really know. You can't. There's no measure to where you say, man, that person, you know, were they whispering when they said it?
You have to rely on the other person to tell you.
Right.
And so that's why they're waiting. You know, that's one of the things we were talking about, is that these, most people are waiting 7 to 10 years before they actually address their hearing.
Their family is telling about them much sooner than that, but they're not willing to do anything.
And then I imagine if it's a particular cause to it, they're waiting 7 to 10 years, and it's just still, you know, maybe it's like a person that's working in a machine factory or something.
Right.
And 7 to 10 years is just, or a concert, it's killing their hearing, and they just don't get it.
But just the aging process.
Yes.
We kind of wear out our hair cells in our inner ear because they're always moving and carrying sound. And by the time you get to be 60, 70, or 80 years, they actually wear out. And so that's the beginning of hearing loss, and we call that presbycusis, which is the hearing loss related to aging. So you don't, you know, maybe you weren't ever exposed to noise or had any risk factors that would cause hearing loss. You could just have a hearing loss that's related, and that's what we see mostly, is the hearing loss related to aging.
Not necessarily damage.
Right, now, and when you talk about hair, it's not the hairs that come out of the guy's ears.
No, these hair cells are little nerve fibers that vibrate, and when they vibrate, they carry the sound to the brain. And that was what we were thinking about talking about, because one of the risk factors of hearing loss, now they're showing, is that there's a greater risk of dementia.
Makes sense.
With people with hearing loss. So we know we're going to have, after 60, there's going to be some form of hearing loss. And there was a study by Dr. Lin in Johns Hopkins. Right. And that showed that within, anyone with even a mild hearing loss had greater cognitive decline over time.
Really?
And if the more severe the hearing loss, the more severe the cognitive decline. And his later follow-up study even showed that there was a shrinkage in the brain, the MRI studies.
The brain matter.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's
for
scary,
people with hearing loss.
And
again, greater for those who had more severe hearing loss than those who had normal hearing.
Well, we had the folks from the Alzheimer's Association, and she said that it shrinks the brain. Now you're kind of connecting those, so it's got to be something that we're doing to ourselves. We don't know what, but it's got to be something. I guess aging. I mean, there is that aging factor. But
well, it's the social isolation. You know, what happens with dementia is that you're cut off from the world, and so it can be either auditory or visual. We were talking. My mother had visual issues as she got older, and she would go into almost like a dream state. So when I would come in, she would say, "Hi, Gail. Are you on the boat?"
Oh
with me?"
my gosh!
Because she couldn't separate her dream from reality, and that's part of the dementia. If you have a hearing loss, you're sitting there, you can't communicate with anyone,
Right.
and you're having the same kind of problems. Everything just kind of breaks down, and you have no social interactions. You develop depression and anxiety, and all those, and you're not getting any input, so you have a physical change in the brain.
I think we were talking a little bit before the show. Dr. Ruth said that it actually changes the way your brain processes the information because it's not coming in the way it normally would come in, and
your brain organizes information. Right? If you're getting a clear signal, your brain organizes the information in certain hemispheres, and when you don't get the signal, you have to work harder, and therefore the brain is working harder to figure out what's being said.
Right, and that puts so much effort that they can't process what's going around them.
Wow.
And
that's so fascinating what you're talking about too, because they say that music therapy, you know what I mean, with the right volume, but music therapy,
reorganize. Yeah, I do a program with children.
I love it.
It's called the Listening Program.
Oh,
and
that's interesting. Let's
it
talk about
actually
that for a
was music that actually they've recorded, and it stimulates all different areas of the brain, and they listen to it for 40-week period, and we can reorganize the brain for auditory processing.
Now, let me ask you a question. As far as testing at an early age, I remember elementary school.
Oh my gosh,
we had to go down. We had the hearing test.
Yeah, and then that's the last test you probably ever had, right?
That was the last test we ever had.
Right. That's the problem. Is,
that is,
right.
And the last really the eye doctor until I couldn't stop seeing the club signs when my buddy said, "Hey, you just missed our exit. We need to be in the bar."
Right, but that'd be more like 40, right?
Yeah, that's like about 40, and then I was like,
we're getting 70.
Right.
So why is
that's my problem with waiting to this age is that, and why we're trying to get out there, is that you've got 7 to 10 years of cognitive decline. I mean, we're doing Lumosity, we're doing all these different programs. My age, the baby boomer age, we want to maintain our cognitive abilities.
Right.
So we're doing all these things, and we're forgetting a big component, which is the hearing loss.
And it's not listed as one of the risk
one of the risk
Well, I
factors.
know, and I was just going to say, when you get your notice for your annual checkup, that's not really listed.
Well,
in there.
you were saying about the
there
doctors now.
There is a new requirement, I believe, with Medicare with primary doctors that they're supposed to at least ask about your hearing.
Right.
Yeah.
What I want to say is that if somebody lost their hearing overnight, they're at our door in no time at all, because they know it's changed.
Emergency
But
room,
because this
something,
happens a slow process over time, it's people
Right.
just
Gradual.
find ways of coping.
right.
Coping, and then I guess it gets to a point where they can't cope, and then that's when it really,
That's
really.
why
Or
this
they're
is
starting to regress or not be able to communicate or pulling themselves out of things that they used to like to do. And just kind of sitting in the house, and then they don't even want to watch television. So you're seeing this whole change in the person's behavior.
Right,
Okay.
and I guess it maybe has to be a little bit annoying for the other people that live with the family members.
Absolutely.
Because they are either yelling at them or they're saying things that don't make any sense, and then you're like, that's not what I said. Yes, that is what you,
Well, that oftentimes is what brings people in our door.
Yeah,
Right.
The
because
person really has to want to do something about it themselves.
Right.
They can't do it for other reasons, for other people.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break and move right back.
Great.
In a world where bankers have lost all interest, where robots and fat cats rule our fortunes, one woman will stand up and strive to do the impossible. Be treated like a person. Friends and neighbors will join her quest. Ordinary people will band together against the forces of corporate greed. And together they will form Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, already in a neighborhood near you.
Imagine the finest hand-selected USDA prime steak you'll ever have. The freshest line-caught seafood, our Wine Spectator award-winning wine list, and soul-satisfying desserts. Bring that together with the perfect date, the winning business deal, a memorable family celebration. Welcome to Rod's Steak and Seafood Grill in nearby Morristown, New Jersey. Bring your appetite and feed your passion.
Your credit score is yours, and at Experian Credit Expert, we want to help you really use it.
With access to helpful Experian experts over the phone and online, we can help you use it to get a better idea of what info the banks have on you. Use it to get more choice of mortgages. Use it to make your money go further. Take the next step to improving your financial future with your free 30-day trial at Experian.co.uk.
Here at Freppy's Tex-Mex, you can definitely taste the freshness in our food. You should definitely come to Freppy's because it's a great place. You can bring your family, very kid-friendly. All my servers are amazing, friendly people. Everyone here is just happy to serve, and I think it shows. The thing that sets us apart is the quality and freshness of our food. And I think once you try it, you'd be coming back. I'm Joe DeSario, co-owner of Freppy's Tex-Mex in Plainfield, New Jersey.
Hey, my name is Jimmy Love, and I'm here to tell you about an exciting new television show called Buy, Sell, or Give It Away. Tired of waiting for those high-priced newspaper ads to print? You call them up and you have to wait 2 or 3 days for the ad to show up? Well, no more waiting. Every day, right here at noon, from 12 to 1, Buy, Sell, or Give It Away is going to be accessible for you to call in. Maybe you got a boat for sale. I'm selling my pet dinosaur. Maybe you want to sell your house. Give away some furniture to a family in need. Just give us a call. We'll tell everybody what you have for sale or what you're looking for, and your response will be immediate, and it's free. Hey, listen, summertime is coming. Maybe you want to buy a travel trailer or maybe rent a travel trailer. Just give us a call. Buy, Sell, and Give Away. Fantastic show. Don't miss it. Tune in every day for 12 to 1 right here at RadioVisionNetwork.com. Buy, Sell, or Give It Away.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Well, welcome back. I'm Keith Reynolds, host of Morning Coffee, here with my co-host Charlene Chamberlain.
And we are talking to Dr. Gail Angelelli and Dr. Ruth Brenner of Audiology Partners about all the different ways hearing loss affects people's lifestyles.
Yeah,
and their
exactly.
health.
Right.
You know, during the break we were talking a little bit about, we were talking about the
music therapy.
Music therapy, and then we were talking about the coverage for hearing. So you were saying that the testing is covered by pretty much all insurances.
Yeah, well, we're audiologists, so we work on a medical model. So we actually participate with insurance. There you can see places where they have free hearing tests, free hearing screenings. Right. We do participate with insurance. So,
good.
So
speaking from that, angle, yes, we participate with.
That's
great.
great.
And then some of the hearing aids, it's getting better and better as it's being covered by
more are covering it.
More covering it, but
discount plans. There's things like that. Not everybody. Some.
You know, but I guess you know what the scary thing is. You know. Driving home every day, if that person can't hear, do they hear me beeping like, buddy, you're making
you're almost in my lane, right?
Sure, it is.
People, you don't know how many people don't hear their turn indicator.
Oh,
when they
they
have no idea what it sounds like.
Right. I do. Wow. My wife always tells me that you're leaving the indicator.
Right.
I said I hear it. I just I'm focused on the road. Mm-hmm. So. Pretty interesting stuff. So what do we have here? You know what? I told you it looks like my fishing lures.
Yeah, they do.
Folks,
they do,
but,
that you will have no problem getting one when you need one.
That's right. No, I think they're cool.
These are actually, we brought some. These are samples. These are they're non-functioning, but there's actually a piece that goes in your ear as well. A speaker.
And these are hearing aids.
But these are the actual size of.
They're amazing.
One of them.
They're so small.
Oticon is the company we have here, but we deal with a variety of companies.
Right.
But this just sits behind your ear, and then there's a little speaker.
And I have to do this. I have to do this. This is unusual for me. No, I just want to show, because my camera guy said him moving on. Can you flip to this? Okay, look how tiny that thing is.
That's it.
I mean, for you guys out there
like a bean, the size of a kidney
macho or something, I mean, Can we get like a little like print on it or something, like
You'll
a
probably
skull,
get stickers.
skull and
Your kids
crossbones.
have-
Well, we said that, what, Huey Lewis?
Yeah, Huey Lewis used to be one of the spokespeople for Oticon years ago,
Yeah.
and he had 2 different color. He
Hearing
had an
aids.
orange and a.
Yeah, he just wanted it, I think.
He wanted to be able to tell the difference between the
Between
right and the
them.
left
The
ear.
right,
Right,
left
but
ear.
Hey.
Let's look at
You know how many
it was
times
like
I-
a fashion statement.
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
his
Why
part,
not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, you know how many times I put my left contact
Oh,
in my
I
right
did that
contact?
this morning.
Yeah,
I
did it this
you know what I
morning,
mean?
and you're
So
like,
I think that's
Because
cool.
they're the same color.
They are
you
the
know?
same
I also
color.
want to tell you that these are also Bluetooth compatible. So there's a
What?
device. There's a device you can get that you wear that allows you to talk hands-free with the sound going to both of your ears at the same time. There's
That's-
television
Amazing.
devices. There's telephone devices.
You can have
all of
direct
which are adaptable.
Input
to
right
That's
from
so
the television right
futuristic.
to your hearing aids.
That's
You know
wonderful.
what? I tell you what. If they could take the technology and have that as your Bluetooth for your phone,
You can.
You can.
that's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
You can stream your music from your phone right up through
In
your
your
hearing
hand?
aids. If you're on a plane, you can do like a direct connect. You can plug the device that the streamer or whatever into the jack in the seat and stream your movies right through your hearing aids.
Wow.
So you
That's
actually are
like-
using them like earphones.
That's like
Yeah.
James Bondish, you know what I mean?
Right, but people don't
That's so
realize that,
freaking cool.
and I think the people in my age group are going to they're going to embrace that kind of
Oh my
technology
gosh,
because
yeah.
they're already using Bluetooth and computers, and you can actually hook your hearing aid into the computer and watch a movie.
Much
Direct
older people
input.
don't necessarily want that kind of thing.
But I have
with the-
90-year-olds that have streamers and they're using everything.
That's wonderful. That's
That is
really
real
great.
cool.
Yeah.
Now that fits on the back of your ear over top, so you don't see it, and then there's a piece that goes inside.
Very
the ear.
thin wire, like speaker
Thin
wire.
Okay.
Speaker
Yeah,
wire.
So
clear.
now I guess that's set up for a certain level of noise to go through it, or hearing, right?
Well, we program them.
You program
to the there's fine tune. I mean, there's depending on the level of technology, there's a lot of adjustments that can be made to.
Right. Because I just want to point out, like, I think there's, and that's why we have folks, from different industries come on and talk about it, because the media always puts a slant on things. Now, they had this big story come out about, earbuds being bad for your ears but if you blare them, that's not really
anything's
good
bad
for your ears.
ears.
That's not,
Right.
you know what I mean?
But there has been a lot of research on that, and with noise exposure, you have to be exposed for like 8 hours a day.
Right.
Okay.
So these kids generally, even though they're maybe at above 80, there is a limit on an iPod to how loud you can make it. So even if you were at the limit, I think it's less than 85, even though it sounds loud. And if they're listening total 4 hours a day, they're probably not going to show that type of hearing loss. Now,
Okay.
there's those stereo things in the cars that vibrate everyone.
Oh, my
If
gosh.
they're exposed to that, or other things. But actually, like farmers and things like that, they
Like
have the
farm
highest rate
machinery?
of farm machinery,
Wow.
carpenters, and they have
Yeah.
higher rates. Musicians can.
Oh yes.
Because it's
I know
direct
a lot.
input.
But with these, we're using a prescription, so it's based off
Exactly.
the hearing
Right.
loss.
Exactly.
Right, we
Appropriate.
don't-
Like you would
And
be
that's
fit
what
with
I'm getting at.
glasses.
I
Right.
think
Yeah.
people say, well, I have this thing. Is how is it different from a earbud? It's so much. It's night and day. And I think that's another thing. When people say, well, you tell me not to use the earbuds, well, why would I use a hearing aid? And that's because that's a prescription.
And you're
And
getting
the earbuds are
Right,
bringing
it
up
is a
all the
prescription.
sounds.
Yeah,
We're
bringing
only
up
bringing
all
up
the
the
sounds.
pitches
That are missing or
Now,
slow,
that
right?
brings my next question. Is there a particular, like, I'll use music. Is there a particular, whether it's the bass, the whatever, that makes the hearing loss happen? Like, is it in your world?
music?
If you look at it, maybe you look at it on some type of meter. You might call it something totally
but,
different.
on this, I
Let's
can
look at
show you a
this.
little bit
Yeah,
about
let's
that.
look at this
Yeah,
chart.
See if
because
we can get a shot of this. This is interesting.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is.
so when the sound enters the ear, and
So it enters
it'll
this
go
ear?
go through that canal,
Okay.
and then it goes to the
Ooh,
eardrum.
earwax.
Just
I'm
clean
sorry.
that out. So it goes up to the eardrum, and then
Okay.
it goes to the three bones.
These three
back,
bones?
back,
Back a little-
back a little bit.
Back a little bit.
Back in here,
Yeah,
right in there.
right there.
Oh,
That's
right
it.
here.
Yeah, that's the three bones, and then that bone is attached to that snail shell, kind of
Right
That?
there.
Yeah, that's the cochlea.
That's in our ear.
That's the
yeah,
cochlea.
that's the cochlea. That's the inner ear.
That looks
and that's
like
where
a
those
snail.
hair cells I was talking about before are.
Okay.
Where the sound enters is the high frequency region.
Gotcha.
Or the treble, as people
Yeah.
would know.
Okay.
And
Okay.
That makes
so what
sense to me.
happens is
Sounds like an instrument.
that if you're even whatever the sound is, high pitch, low pitch, it keeps impacting those little hair cells, and they wear out. So you end up having more hearing loss in the high frequencies generally, because that's the first place that the sound enters. And they become, as I said, I think the easiest way to think about it, they actually just wear out over the years.
Right.
And the low frequencies, most of the people we see with hearing loss due to aging are generally fine. And so they tend to have, so it's not really the pitch of the noise. It can be the loudness.
So,
But probably, just the aging factor is the biggest one.
And that results in reduced clarity. You just don't, you hear it,
It's
but you don't understand it.
Yeah.
People say people mumble all the time.
Yes.
Right.
And then when you get into background noise, noise just blocks
You
out.
can't
and
hear
you
anything.
can't you're not getting the clear part. You're not getting the S's and the T's, the meaning
of the
words.
consonants.
Right.
Okay.
The consonants.
Well, I want to talk about that. When you know what, we're going to take a quick commercial break because I want to finish up on that. That's pretty interesting stuff too. Okay, we'll be right back.
Here, we have an attractive orange and a distinguished apple. The two similar, but opposites. Theory, a wingman is needed, or perhaps a wing lemon. A friend to the orange and an acquaintance to the apple, the lemon brings the two opposites together. See, with a little fresh thinking, the universe can be surprisingly smooth.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Fitzpatrick's. Deli dine for breakfast and lunch. And at night, gourmet dine for dinner with entrees and specialty sandwiches including certified black Angus cuts of beef and wild-caught seafood, plus catering options for specialty events. Since 1989, Fitzpatrick's, your hometown place with upscale tastes.
Apple Ridge is about freedom. Apple Ridge is about community. Apple Ridge is about home. Apple Ridge, everything you want, more than you expect. Welcome to your new neighborhood. Apple Ridge Senior Living. Enjoy a maintenance-free, affordable luxury lifestyle today. Visit appleridgeseniorliving.com and find out more about the Apple Ridge experience.
I'm Stephanie Milan, host of Read All About It. I interview authors of all kinds about their journeys of writing and the struggles that they face. You can watch my show at 12 p.m. on Wednesdays. Tune in to Radio Vision Networks. We hope to see you then.
Hi, I'm Jim Turpin, host of Your Best 50. Please join me every Thursday at 3:30 where we'll cover topics that are important to the baby boom generation and their kids. And let us help you make this your best 50.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Hi, good morning. I'm Keith Reynolds. I'm back. We're back. I'm here with my show host, our co-host. There I go again with that show co-host.
Show host. Well, it's the same thing.
Charlene
I like that.
Chamberlain.
Showco. I'm the
Showco. You're the Showco. I like that name.
Showco.
Showco.
Oh, no,
And
thanks
we're
a lot.
talking about
Thanks.
we're talking about ear health. Am I doing this right? Ear health.
Yes.
There you go.
Ear health.
Ear health.
Yeah. Just hide your face.
Yes. And who are we here with, Char?
We're here with Dr. Gail and Dr. Ruth. Now we're on a first name basis here.
Dr. Gail and Dr. Ruth.
Right, from Audiology Partners of Marlton.
So, we were getting really interested. We had our little chart up here.
Mm-hmm.
Future-wise, I know the hearing aids.
They're so cool, all the different colors and everything.
But look, eye care, they shave back something and then they give you 20/20. Really not a fan of that because I think they say if you did it 10 years later, something's going to go on. Is there something for the hearing world that maybe if you're saying all the hairs die in there, that they sprinkle some fertilizer or hair
hair
tonic?
They are studying hair cell regeneration, but there has not.
They have that Latisse.
They've been studying that since the 90s, because actually birds regenerate their hair cells.
Really?
Yeah. So all that bird research they now have been able to put hair cells and again whatever with birds and some other animal, I'm not sure. I think rats. I think they've done it with rats too, and they have been able to generate hair cells. The problem is they don't go into any kind of a meaningful rows and things like we do.
That.
So how it's going to actually work. Yeah. But but the biggest thing is the cochlear implant is, and that's where if you're completely deaf.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
The cochlear implant is
you have to have no usable hearing.
No.
And where does that get implanted?
It goes right into the cochlea. So that
right
shell,
they
wind it right around in. It's an array, an electrode array, and it will stimulate all different areas. The low frequency area and the high frequency area, and send that information up to the brain.
But you are wearing there's a magnet and there's a piece you put on the back of your head, and then there's a large device that you're putting over your ear as well.
Right.
But it does give you. My patients tell me we don't program cochlear implants in our office.
University of Pennsylvania.
The hospitals, major hospitals. But some of our clients do have one, and then they have a hearing aid in the other ear. And they say it sounds a bit mechanical, but they've come a long way.
But they can hear.
Better than hearing not at all.
And so they're fitting a lot of children. And again, some of the research on just the deprivation of the auditory and the effect on the brain was with the kids with cochlear implants. Now they're fitting them really as soon as they can identify them. They were waiting to do them at 5 to 7 years, and they never came up to where the other children did.
Yes.
And they did actual physical tests called auditory brainstem tests. You could see the slow pattern in the brainstem of the auditory information going through and they recovered to a certain degree, but never to the level that the children that were fit under 2.
Catch up.
Yeah.
Right. They just couldn't catch up.
Okay. Now, I think it was Dr. Ruth down the...
Dr. Ruth.
Every time I think of Dr. Ruth, I almost couldn't say... I wanted to say your last name, but I was like, okay, sorry I didn't. Dr. Ruth mentioned about, right before the other break, about hearing different things like different sounds, right? So when we do audio and kids with speech therapy, they can't say their S's or something, so they teach them how to say their S's. Now, is hearing set up the same way? Because you were saying that you can only hear, if you have hearing problems, certain things start to go. So is it the same thing, kind of like in reverse for hearing? Like your S's start going away? What? Because you can understand what people are saying?
You just don't hear those.
You don't hear those.
Part of the word. Did someone say cats, or did they say cat, sweep, or sweet?
So S's start going away.
S's, those are the high.
But isn't it kind of weird that in some of the vocal, like when they can't say their S's, T's, V's, stuff like that?
You think it's related?
Some of it is. Yeah, some of it is. And there was some research with Phonak that children had hearing aids with hearing loss from, they either had a lot of them had chemo, and it caused a high frequency loss, so they didn't hear S's. And they couldn't the speech pathologist could not get them to produce an S because they couldn't hear it.
Right.
And Phonak developed something called Sound Recover, which shifted some of the information. It compressed the octave, and brought that information down so they could hear it. Within a month, they were producing S's.
Wow,
nice.
That's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
That's really great.
Yeah, so if we're finding, and you had said before with that some of these people, if you get those sounds back cognitively, what they're actually seeing, and some studies are seeing improvement once people are fit and they're getting all the sound back, that you can make some recovery.
A lot of those studies were in France. They've done a 25-year study. Hearing aids just happen to be part of it. It's a general study on the geriatric, I guess in the University of Bordeaux. But they actually saw the difference between people with hearing aids and their cognitive abilities and people that don't, because we haven't really done that research in the United States yet. And then they had another with the cochlear implants. Those people were classified with severe cognitive issues, but they had no input. And when they fit them, there was an 80% increase in their cognitive abilities.
Wow.
So
Really
the French have done a lot of research about brain hearing, and Otakon had a couple of them speak at some of their, because they're very interested in brain hearing.
And you know, we talked a little bit before the show, and you mentioned that you don't hear with your ears, you hear with your brain, right?
Yeah,
it's really your brain.
The input goes through the ears,
Is that why
but when we
like
interpret it, it's actually the brain.
Right.
And it's interesting. We've been more recently doing some hearing aid fittings where we actually incorporate some of the preferences for sound. And I would have thought everybody, I listened to someone talking in noise and that had more of a high frequency emphasis, like a tinny emphasis. Someone else had a more bass. And I thought, oh, well, we're all normal hearing. We're all going to like that one. And we were split half and half. So actually incorporating a little bit of what your user preference is actually makes a big difference in the fittings, because we were always fitting very, by the numbers. Whatever your hearing loss is, we were going to return it. But now we're doing a little bit, we're actually taking some of the listening preferences into account, and it makes for a really good fit, because some people like bass, some people like treble, some people like loud sounds, they like things like really intense, other people want it softer. Some people want a lot of noise reduction, some people want to hear everything. So it's interesting how all that's incorporated.
Well, doctors, it was wonderful having you come on. I want you to tell the listeners out there where they can find you guys to get tested, or talk about their hearing stuff.
Show those one more time,
I am going to show.
amazing.
You know what? I am going to show these one more time. Again, I'm going to get up to the camera.
The size of a kidney.
There we go. All new. Look at these guys. I mean, they are so cool. I'm going to get one that I don't have a hearing problem.
But we know where you're going to use it for.
But tell the listeners out there and viewers where they can find you.
We're located in Marlton. We're at 851 Route 73 North. We're across from the Whole Foods on Route 73.
Right.
Whole Foods?
Oh, that's across from Whole Foods.
Right
you're back there. You're over by Dr. Nadia.
Probably.
She does a show.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She does a show on Wednesday.
Wow.
Oh my God, it's always fun with Dr. Nadia. It's all right. Well, we're going to be back after this commercial break with our next guest.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you
for coming in. Awesome.